So the bloodlines of the North, they kept their historical record. It's called in Britain, in Guildhall, in London, in the Great Britain, Britannia. It's the record book. It kept the records of everything in the world you can possibly defy that a human being can say. All of these different words, every letter in the alphabet, right? The alphabet that was taught the Greeks from the Phoenician prince, who they say is Cadmus. Cadmus in the myth about him, who I say is the same thing on the Egyptian hieroglyphs. He's called Thutmose. And in the Bible, they call him Moses, the lawgiver, who taught them the law of God from the script he wrote. He wrote it on a stone, right? So I always say. So I looked at that. It's called the Britannica. The Britannica told me everything about the Egyptians. Anything about Egypt, you will find it out in the Britannica encyclopedia. So, and none of the people who you don't see, none of them in. I mean, it shows you somebody that looks like me. Was a god, was the king of some type of land, and he was, you know, it records everything about him, how much gold and how much treasure they were buried in, and everything, how wonderfully wrapped up and preserved was a King Tut, King Tut, a King Thutmose. Was a lawgiver in the Britannica when I looked it up. Thutmose. Looked up King Thutmose or Thutmose. He's in the Britannica. He's in the encyclopedia. But it's always a European historical record about it, and they're so obscure, like they always say, unclear and unsure about all these things of antiquity in their possession, in their museums, in all of their great buildings, in their books, record such a people and kept them intact in their coffins, and still know a great deal about this person from the ancient world, long dead, so long ago. How wonderful, I say, the Egyptians must have been. For us to always to think about them 4,000 years later, and have them so wonderfully still intact, and wrote all these books. They built their country off of this. The Europeans, all the European nations behind the Caucasus Mountains. We've come to the Northwest Passage and have settled in the middle regions of the earth, in lands they were never supposed to chart and have their eyes upon. They were never supposed to behold such places and to come into the interior and to have any type of authority over these places. So I always say, all of these things the Europeans have kept a record of in Egypt. All the Egyptian things. Anything from the land of Egypt that belongs to a Negro or a black person. It's a European who owns it and has possession of it and has more knowledge than even the things who these things seem to belong to and look like, you know. All right, I was talking about the law, and we were talking about the hieroglyphs. So I'm doing some letterhead on a jacket. I'm going to put it in typesetting, modern day typesetting letters. almighty vice lords. On one side of the other side of the arm, 2 words. Then I'm gonna put the Egyptian counterpart over the top of the leather that spells almighty vice lords. I'm just giving you a heads up. Thutmose was 1500 years before Christ, the Egyptian ruler. That's what it say in a dictionary, Thutmose. And we're talking about hieroglyphs. And I said he is who the Greeks in their mythologies call Cadmus. Some type of lawgiver to them. So I'm gonna find the dictionary's definition for the same thing. I looked up Thutmose, the Egyptian ruler. That's what it say in the dictionary. All right, look up Cadmus. C-A-D-M-U-S. C-A-D-M-U-S. Cadmus. Classical myth, a Phoenician prince who introduced writing to the Greeks and who founded the city of Thebes, or Thebes, in the company of 5 warriors from the dragon's teeth he had planted in the earth, classified as Sparta. Spartans. All right. Now, the Greeks learned from a Phoenician prince, and I said Thutmose, the Egyptian ruler. All right, that's the Bible code. It's the same biblical Moses in the Bible, who was a lawgiver and who was someone who gave them their language. Okay. The biblical Moses. Okay. It's the same thing. That's what I'm trying to say. Well, this is not, I don't want to give you the European version. Somebody really saw this and knew the truth about these things, had the power to publicate, who happened to be a non-European person. So instead of it being the Britannica of Great Britain in the United States of America, or the European Union, which is called the Illuminati, we have now, since I have took this great, works, was to make a Negropedia for Negroes. A Negropedia. So for black people. So the Negropedia Negranica. For the Negus of the pre-Columbian era of America. The Negus. We got the Negropedia. Negropedia Negranica. For Negros. For the Negus. The Negus. Negranica Negropedia. Because we're not European, we're not from I'm not British, I'm not the prototype or a Caucasoid who rules in Great Britain. I'm a nigger who rules in Niggerville. The Negropedia Negranica. And the Negropedia Negranica for the Negus. Can you dig it? Sucker.